So one of my students was struggling with hitting curveballs, and I thought this would be very helpful for you players out there who may be struggling also with the curveballs. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is actually show you his swing, so you can see here. So this was happening. He's basically rolling over, coming around the ball, hitting a lot of balls, basically on the ground here. Pitches that are outside. He's pulling them, right? He's just out and around every pitch. So what I'm going to do is I want to talk about a few things that could help you if you're going through something similar and you're struggling with hitting curveballs. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is its actual feet. Now, you can see here as he starts to stride, his feet is going this way, right? And when he swings, you can see that he's basically fighting his body. You see how he's pulling his hands in tight to his body right here. And then you can see how now he's out and around and basically fighting his body just to get to the baseball. So first thing I would say is if you're trying to be more direct and square more baseballs up, I would say even your feet out, just the fact of his feet being more aligned here. Let me show you. If his feet was more aligned as he started to stride, it would give his hands a better path to the baseball, as opposed to right now, he's fighting his body and everything's going this way, right? And that's the reason why he's around it. So that'd be the first thing I want to say. Now, the second thing I want to say is we need to focus on hitting the right curveballs. Okay. Now, what we want to do at the plate is we want to take the basically dirty curveballs. Okay. And dirty curveballs are balls that are down in the zone, right? If we're going to put a box right here at the top, right here, anything that's here low is basically a dirty curveball. It's going to be hard to basically crush that pitch. So we want to take that pitch because that pitch is a pitcher's pitch. Pitchers are taught to throw the ball down in the zone. They're taught to throw the curveballs down. Okay, so we want to take those pitches because it's going to it's going to allow us to get the pitch that we want, which is we want this pitch, the hangers. So we want to hit the hangers, the bad curveballs. Okay. The hangers are the ones that you actually do damage on. And those are the pitches that we want to take good swings on. This pitch right here, if we go all the way back, okay, he is fighting his body, okay, but you can see here, this pitch is actually down, right? This pitch is down. He's hitting it on the downward part of the topward part of the baseball, and he's just pounding this ball in the ground. And again, here, look how he can't get extended because he's fighting his body to get to the baseball. Okay, so that right there is what we want to do. We want to take the dirty curveballs, which is usually down in the zone, and we want to get the pitcher to work more up in the zone. And the pitcher will start to work more up in the zone if you don't swing. Because when you swing, you give information. When you don't swing, you don't give information. So if you're taking those pitches and those pitches are balls, I mean, I think this pitch would have been a ball. I'm not sure where the camera is, but this pitch is a ball. Or if this is early in the count, you take this pitch, you're going to force him to start moving the ball up in the zone. And if you look at any of the home runs that guys are hitting on off-speed pitches, they're usually pitches at the top of the zone. And I learned this from Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds talked about, what does a pitcher want to do? Oh, the pitcher wants to throw the ball down the zone. He wants to throw his changeup down. He wants to throw his curveball and a slider down. So if we look at for fastball up in the zone, we'll basically eliminate all the pitcher's pitches and force him to start throwing the ball more up in the zone because you're going to start taking those pitches that are, the pitcher's pitches, the curveball, sliders, and changeups down. And sure enough, once I started implementing that strategy, I started to see the ball better. The pitcher started to, basically throw more balls. And then I got more hitters counts and I was able to start driving the baseball. So that right there is what I recommend if you're struggling to hit with curveballs. Make sure your feet is aligned, right? So it can give your bat path a clear, give your hands a clear path to the baseball. Second thing is, what curveballs are you actually swinging at, right? In this situation, the plate is here, he's so far deep, and that ball that he's swinging at, if he didn't swing, it's probably going to land about right here. Okay, let me mark it right here. It's probably going to land like right here, which is, again, a pitcher's pitch, right? There's nothing really you can do with this pitch. And if you're, swinging at it, even if you're trying to stay inside of it, maybe you can bloop one over, and sometimes you might have to do that. You could bloop it over, but for the most part, we're trying to take that pitch so we can get a better pitch to hit, right? The goal is to not swing at everything. It's to shrink the zone and increase your probabilities of making more harder, consistent contact. And by taking those tough pitches, you will increase the chances of making more harder, consistent contact. And so I want to know, was this helpful for you guys? What do you guys do when it comes to hitting curveballs? I love to know. Thank you guys. And I'll see you in the next video.